Today is my mother's 85th birthday. She was having kind of a clear day today, at least for a little while. When I called to tell her happy birthday, I'm on my way with your medicine. She said, I was thinking today. I said, what about? She said, about where I went wrong with my kids. I have a sister and a brother, older. And I said, what do you mean? She said, I just look on TV and I see other kids, they have good jobs and this and that. And I wonder, where did I go wrong? I had the husband, he was in the house. I had a good job, da-da-da. And I listened to her and I said, well, it's not really about where you went wrong, at least in this situation, because I think you did the very best with what you had at the time. And you definitely did more for us than was done for you. And she said, yeah, but it's not that simple as having the man in the home and being married and things like that. But it doesn't matter because you did your best. And at some point, your children, we have to be adults and we have to take responsibility for ourselves. Whatever you did or did not provide, it's up to us to provide that for ourselves. Her clarity goes in and out. And she wasn't clear too much longer. But she said, yeah, I guess you're right. I said, because Mama, I'm not mad at you about anything. I don't complain about you, not that much. If anything, I brag about you. I say, my mother did this for me and that for me and this for me and everything you were supposed to do to set me up for success, you did that. You did more than that. She said, yeah. I said, but people have to take responsibility for themselves. As far as I'm concerned, you did right by me. And I think that's an important lesson for those of us who have mother wounds to understand. That your mother, I'd say, 85%. This is an arbitrary data point. 85% of mothers really did the best that they could. They did not intend to harm their kids. Whether or not they did is another story. But they didn't intend to. And they did the very best they could with what they had at the time. If they had known better, they would have done better. I'd say that 85% of mothers who caused inadvertent mother wounds, they have mother wounds too. It's just like I told my mom. At some point, we have to take responsibility for ourselves. Meaning whatever our parents did or did not teach us, did or did not impart as far as lessons, guidance, we have to provide that for ourselves. Because when my mother was telling me, this, she said, nobody taught me anything. Nobody taught me how to have children, how to raise them, how to work. My mother had no work experience at all. I had to get out there and get it out the mud by myself. No one taught me anything. And I think we can't lose sight of that. Even though our parents may have done us harm and they may not realize it or acknowledge it, we have to acknowledge that it was unintentional in most cases, but that at some point it's up to us to provide for ourselves what was not provided for us, or to heal within ourselves what was done to us. You see what I'm saying? We have to acknowledge that the mother wounds we have now happened because the mothers who inflicted them also had mother wounds. I think that's important because it gives you a sense of control and autonomy, and it means you can do something about your situation, how you feel. You can heal yourself, however that happens. It needs to be an intentional act, whether you get therapy or you just work on yourself, you read books, you talk things out with people who care about you and understand where you're coming from and can listen objectively and empathetically. Whatever you have to do to heal, do it. But just understand that harboring bad feelings towards your parent keeps the mother wounds fresh and it keeps them active. It keeps them from healing. It was very important for me in my journey that I acknowledge that my mother did the best she could. And what she did not provide is up to me to provide it for myself. And frankly, that's why my platform exists, because you all know it's all about these things that older Black women should have told younger Black women but don't. That's what I'm all about. You won't know because I didn't tell you. Just understand that you're not the only one who is hurt. I'm not making excuses. I'm just acknowledging something that you might need to acknowledge too, because in acknowledging that the person who may have hurt you was also hurt and needed to heal and perhaps did not, it frees you to focus on your own healing and move into a place of forgiveness. Just like I told my mother, you're 85 years old today, girl. She said, I know. Do you know that's almost 100? I said, well, see what you can do. And as staticky as she can be, I hope my mother lives a long time. I'm doing what I can to preserve her mind. And I understand that she did the best she could. And that's important to understand that, because then I can move on.